Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of the Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as we always do. But you know what this is? This is Way Out Wednesday. This is Way Out Wednesday. This is the day where you no, no, yeah, you right there. You become the boss. All you have to do is give us a call 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Give us a call and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about and talk about it in its entirety. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Give us a call and we'll talk about what you want to talk about and talk about again in its entirety. You are the boss today. You running the show. So what you want to talk about? What's on your heart? What's on your mind? What is it that you want to talk about, that you want to discuss? All you have to do is give us a call. Real simple, real quick. Don't take long at all. Just give us a call and we will talk about whatever it is that is on your heart, or your heart of your heart of your heart. And we will talk about it. But right now, before we get started, I want to do something. And I need to ask y'all a question. I really do. Um Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby. We know that he had a little situation going on with himself. We know that he got incarcerated. They did some things, some questionable things. I'm not here to say whether he did or whether he did not do those things that he's being accused of doing. It's not my place to judge. Um there are accusations that happen. But I just want to know this. Bill got out, and there were some technicalities. He didn't get out because he was innocent. He did not get out because he was innocent. He got out based on some technicalities. And so my question is, Bill been all over the news. They say Bill want to do a tour and all kind of things. Bill got a lot of things going on right now. And so my thing is, should Bill Cosby just sit himself down? Should Bill Cosby sit himself down and let this thing play itself out and get out the forefront? Should Bill Cosby get out the forefront right now? Should he say, okay, this happened, that happened, but I need to sit down. I don't need to be out there in the forefront. I do not need to have my name brought up at all right at this point in time. I don't need that. That's not what I need. Should that be what Bill do? Or should Bill be Bill and do what Bill does? My thing is, I'm thinking Bill has placed himself in the same category, situation and circumstances as OJ. And there's a lot of people that still to this day feel a certain way about OJ. There's a lot of people that still to this day say that OJ did it. There's a lot of people that say that OJ did it. There's a lot of people that is not feeling OJ right now. So I think that Bill is pretty much putting himself in that same situation, in that same um category, if you will. Lack of a better term, that same category. And I think he should know, being 80 some years old, just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Bill. But Bill should be wise enough to know it's time to set it down right now. I don't want to stir this thing up any more than what is stirred up already. There's a lot of things going on with it. I don't want to stir it up. I'm going to just sit down and let this stuff play itself out, have it play itself out. I'm a free man. I'm home. This is what I wanted. And because of the fact that this is what I wanted, I'm a free man now. I'm not going on any tours. He could very well write a book. Now that's something he could do. Stay at home, write a book. You're a temple man. You're a temple man. I mean, you say you're very educated. Write your book. Tell your story. The people that's interested in it will buy your book. But going out on tour and having all these mobs of people coming out, it's a little too much, Bill. You got all these mobs of people coming out and they're protesting you. They're protesting you. I'm not gonna sit here and say they're protesting the situation, circumstances, and all that. They're protesting you. That's what they're doing. They're protesting you. They don't feel as though you should be free. They feel as though you should have died in prison. You should have died incarcerated. They gave you a minimum of 3 years. You did 2. So you beat the little system in that regard. You did 2 years. Some say you shouldn't have done anything, but that's individual. That's individual. Everybody have their own opinion as to how they feel about that. But what I say, what I think, and I want people to give me a phone call. You give me a call 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Tell me what you think about it. Again, 678-381-1973. Give me a call. Let me know what you think about it, how you feel about it. Should Bill sit himself down, his old behind down? Should he do that? Or should he have the freedom that everybody else? He's out. They released him. He's no longer incarcerated. He's a free man. So should he have all those freedoms like everybody else to go out there and do what it is that he wants to do? There's a lot tied up into that, man. And like I said, I know how I feel about it. I know how I personally feel about it. But what do you think? What's on your heart? 678-381-1973. Give me a call. Let me know what you're thinking. I say that again, Bill needs to sit down and let this thing play itself out. I don't think he need to be there doing all the things that he's trying to do right now. I don't think the timing of that is right. I don't think the timing is right. I think that though they say he's he's innocent, though they say he's innocent, and what truth of the matter, they didn't even say he was innocent. No one said he was innocent. Everybody's saying there was a technicality, and because of the technicality of it all, he was released. One prosecutor said that gave him a deal. One prosecutor actually gave him a deal and said that if you testify, you'll have immunity and we won't prosecute you. So he took on that word, and he got on the stand. That prosecutor was no longer on the case. A new prosecutor came about. A new prosecutor came, and when the new prosecutor came, that is when the bottom fell out for Bill. That's when the bottom fell out. That's when the deal was null and void. The deal was null and void. The deal, they say, no, we're not making no deal with you, brother. You did it. You're guilty, and we're gonna charge you behind. We're gonna charge you, and they did. He was found guilty. Minimum of 3 years, and I don't know what the maximum was, whatever that was. But my thing is this right here, Bill Cosby, brother, sit it down. Sit it down, brother. I'm just saying. I ain't saying. I'm just saying. Sit it down, brother. There's no reason why. There's no reason why you should be out there still trying to do all this mess that you're doing. Sit it down, brother. Sit it down. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Let me know what you think about it. There's a lot of things that's going on right now, man. What do y'all think about all these politics? They play dirty games. They play some dirty games in politics. They got, I think it's in Texas, where a lot of the Democrats packed their stuff and went out of town. So there was going to be a vote. Excuse me. They were going to have a vote, and in that vote, they was going to be talking about the vote was on the same thing that they did here in Georgia. The voting is on whether or not they was going to pull certain things back and put limitations on your ability to vote, much like they did the bill they passed here in Georgia. But a lot of people in Texas said, look here, we're not going to be in town for the vote. And because of the fact that they didn't have enough people there in town to make the vote, to take place in the vote, because of that reason, they couldn't vote. And so they can't pass a bill if they don't have the votes. If we don't get the votes, it can't pass. And what they did, clever. It's clever. They've been a little slick with themselves. A lot of the Democrats went out of town, went to different places, and and they're not there. They're not present. They're not present. They're not present accounted for. So therefore, they cannot vote. You can't pass the bill if you don't have enough votes. You have to have enough votes to pass the bill. So what they did, they halted the whole thing. But it's gonna come a point in the time, and now they're doing all kind of things, saying that if they don't get back, they're gonna arrest them and all kind of foolishness. They're not gonna do that. That's what they're doing right now is lip service. It's lip service because they're not gonna arrest nobody. If they was going to arrest somebody, they would arrest all of those people that went in January the 6th on my birthday, January the 6th, that went into the Capitol building. And why my birthday got to be remembered by that? Every year, January the 6th, instead of saying, oh, right, that's your birthday, they're going to say, oh, that's the day they went into the Capitol building. And I promise you, they're going to get a false narrative. They're trying to create, they're going to try and create a false narrative years from now and make it think that it was some kind of great patriotic thing that they did. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it wasn't. And it will never be. These are people that had malice in their heart. They went in looking for certain people. They went in looking for your Vice President Pence. They said they wanted to kill him. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where Pence? And they called him a traitor. And then what happened? Pence, he realized what he was up against. He realized what, everything was not in his favor. He talked bad about Trump for 10 minutes. And then he ended up right back with him. I wonder what kind of hold Trump got on these people, man. Trump got some kind of hold on these folks, man, because you cannot tell me that these people are going to keep going right back to him time and time and time again. What kind of hold he got on these people? He got something going on. He got something going on. I don't understand it. And he won't, and for whatever reason, Trump won't sit down. We have some Trump supporters listening to us, and it's okay. Everybody have to have their own thing. Everybody, know what they like and how they like and whatever it is. Yeah, it is what it is. But there are some Trump supporters out there, and if you are a Trump supporter, like I say, it's okay. Be who you are. But my thing is, give me a call and let me know what do you think is so great about this man? Give me a call. 60, because evidently, maybe you might be able to shine light on me so I can understand. Because right now I don't get it. I don't. But if you give me a call, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973, let me know what is so great about Mr. Trump. Why, y'all feel like he's the savior and he's going to be the one that's going to save everybody. Help me understand. Right now, I'm not getting it. Right now, I am not getting it. An error occurred while processing. Okay. Facebook is a trip. But yeah, give me a call. Help me understand what it is. Why y'all support Trump so much and why y'all won't just let it be. Let it be. Why y'all won't let it be, man? They had an election. They went through the election. They did everything they had to do. They went through the proper procedures of the election. Had the numbers. Got a call. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Tucson, man.
Tucson. Hey, what's up? What's up, Tucson? Where you calling from, brother?
I'm calling from Pascagoula, Mississippi. I'm from Opelousas here at that program.
There you go. Hey, Tucson, I need to understand something. And I was talking about this earlier. First, let me get to my first topic, and I want to ask you, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, he the situation that happened with him. The whole story behind how he was incarcerated, given a minimum of 3 years. He did 2 years, and on the technicality, not necessarily that he was innocent, but on the technicality, he was released. He was released, and now he's out. He's at home. Dog, should Bill sit down, man? Should he sit it down, man? Because now he's talking about going on tour. Every place he go to, they got people got more people outside protesting than inside watching this comedy show. More people outside protesting Bill. And now he's talking about maybe writing a book and stuff like that, which is okay. He could write a book if he want to, but do it from home. Should Bill sit it down, man?
Yeah. Yeah. We very honest that Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Really. Because he's kind of like the O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
Situation.
Yeah.
this guy says he's gonna write a book. If I did it, this is how I would have did it.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So look at what happened with OJ because he didn't sit down somewhere. He
Mm-hmm.
got arrested for stealing his own stuff.
Yep. Yep. How you get arrested for stealing something that's
Sometimes
yours?
your own stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when you sort of like almost the hand of mercy of the corrupt system gives you a break, take it, shut your mouth, and move on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because if they put their hand on you again, they're not gonna let you go.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. If they catch him up on anything, a simple traffic, well, he ain't gonna be driving, I don't
Anything.
think, but a simple traffic violation.
I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering if there's a probation behind all of this.
Mm, I don't think so.
So if you okay, you gotta the legal system is a trick
Mm-hmm.
because they'll put stipulations on your release, and you got to stay away from certain atmospheres. You can't do certain things for a time period,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and if you do certain things, even the simple, they got you.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I do? Stay off the radar.
Exactly. Exactly.
What else you want to talk about?
Mhm. And see,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
It's your
yeah,
show. I'm sorry. I don't
no.
like talking about Bill.
Oh, okay, but I understand what you're saying, though. I understand exactly what you're saying because,
Yeah, but just you just need to sit down somewhere.
yeah, yeah. And see, the thing about it is this right here as well. One of the things that get me is why would you want to go on tour? Why would you want to go on after all this stuff that's going on? Why would you want to go on a tour knowing it's going to disrupt everything? You know, you just came home.
If there be another allegation
Mm-hmm. Yep.
of any kind, you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. And it don't take number one person. Don't take number
Right.
one person to just say Bill did this to me. Now, as old as Bill
He
is,
touched you.
yeah, as old as Bill is,
He
Bill ain't.
bumped against me. Now you looking crazy for real because they got you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna try to lock you down. Crazy stuff.
Exactly.
Kind of stupid. I know what part of is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of stupid to me.
Yeah.
That he gets a break. When you get a break, you got to take a break.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
just me.
Mm-hmm. But Donna, this is Way Out Wednesday, brother. What's on your heart?
You had another subject that I don't want to talk about, but it's stupid because everything that we're doing in this country is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
From the rights that we have to do whatever you want to be, to still talking about Trump,
Mm-hmm.
to even having a multitude of people even considering him coming on the scene again.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to go sit down somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he has so many supporters. Not only him, we look at the people, and I wonder why it is. It's not my choice. Thank God has me. I look at leadership as a whole, even political, spiritual leadership, all of these, and we make a mockery of intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like nobody got no real wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of truth
Mm-hmm.
and reality
Mm-hmm.
because it's just jacked up. I don't want to. I'm not prejudiced against anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because I got errors in my life. I look at it as all people are different and all people make some mistakes. I'm not perfect. I got some issues.
Yeah.
But when we get to the point where we see some of the things, a lot of the things repeated over and over again, happening over and over again, we have to question
Yeah. Yeah.
our morality
Mm-hmm.
as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody got a choice to make. And it seems like we're going in a direction of destruction quick.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stand for any kind of righteousness, you the one can go to hell.
Absolutely. 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 We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Dr. Cook.
Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
I'm well, and you?
Hey, you doing well, doing well. We're talking this morning about one of the topics we're talking about this morning is Bill Cosby. And you know how the whole situation played out with Mr. Cosby. Got incarcerated, was minimum of 3 years. He did 2 years and got out on a technicality. Not that he was innocent, but a technicality. He was promised something that they didn't deliver, so they had to release him. Now Bill is talking about writing a book, but the bigger part of what he's talking about doing is he's actually talking about doing a tour, and he started the tour, and he has more people protesting outside the building than is actually in the building watching this comedy show. My question is this: should Bill sit it down? Is he doing too much?
Mr. Bill has a right to do whatever he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that if he sit it down, I'm saying his life is work.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I do think that he should do a tour, but I don't think that it's going to have a good outcome.
Mm-hmm.
We should never basically say people need to sit it down. People need to keep going. I'm saying if you go home and sit down, you basically you're gonna die because your body's not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can do whatever he wants to do, and let him try to attempt to do something. No one should shut anybody down. No one has that right.
Mm-hmm.
Let him live his life, and he will see once he tries to do whatever, and it is not successful, then maybe he will think about doing something else. But that's his life. Let him do whatever he wants to do legally.
But do you think
And
sis that and me and Donald talked about this earlier, and Tucson, he's actually on Donald Tucson is on with us as well. We came to the conclusion, we came to the agreement that any little slip that Bill do, they're gonna try to get him again. They're gonna try to get him incarcerated, much like they did OJ. They arrested OJ, and we're not here to talk about whether they're innocent or guilty. We're not here to talk about that. But what we will say is OJ got arrested for stealing, they say, his own property, and they locked him back up again. Do you think Bill is placing himself in the same situation? Because it's a dirty game out there.
If he's trying to go on tour, I'm sure he's going to have somebody with him. Mm-hmm. It's always good to have somebody with you that's going to have your back. But they may try to do something to set him up. Mm-hmm. He has to look at that too. That's kind of, yeah. That's a hard situation.
Yeah,
that's a hard situation.
It is, because, like I say, I know how what I have seen from the system that we have here, and in this system, if they can't get you one way, they're gonna find out a way to get you another way. But they're gonna make sure that at the end of the day, they're gonna make sure they get you. Tucson, what do you say to that? Tucson, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I got. I missed what you said. I missed. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. I was saying
Go
that
ahead.
Bill maybe should sit it down because I know what I've seen of this system that we have in America, this quote unquote justice system. And if they can't get you one way, they're gonna figure out a way to get you another way. And just like
That's
OJ,
what it is.
just like with OJ, you know, they locked him up for stealing his own stuff. How do you steal something that belongs to you? That belongs to you. But they locked him up for stealing his own property. Go ahead.
You know, when you and I just an opinion of mine don't mean nothing. It's like our rear ends, we all got one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
But first of all, if people that if you do something, for instance, if I'm going 55 miles an hour in a 45 miles an hour zone, and another person of a different whatever does the same crime and get lesser time, don't you think I need to be more careful?
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And that happens all the time. Dr. Cook, that happens all the time. You know, that this justice system, there's no balance there. There's really no balance there. And because of the fact that we know that there's no balance, we have to govern ourselves accordingly. Is that true?
That is so true. And you have to think about all these avenues that could be against you. You have to be very smart in everything you do. You have to outthink them because they're going to always be 2 steps ahead of you trying to outthink you.
Yep.
So yes, you have to think about all of that.
That's good. I mean, and the truth of the matter is very unfortunate that even in 2021 we still in that place right there where we have to think that way, we have to govern ourselves in that way. It should be better. It should be better. But
yes, indeed.
But we know the reality of the situation. It's not. It's not. And at the drop of a hat, they could come and get you for whatever reason, and try to make it stick. And by the time you prove yourself innocent, you've lost a year or so of your life. You've lost that time.
That's true.
But this is what we call.
That's true, but we can't continue to live in fear, though.
Oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Raheem.
Yes.
I'm just saying, and I know my door is doing a revolving act, so I have to. Yeah. You have to excuse me this morning.
Yeah, I understand.
But yeah, if I know that semen, especially now, you know, we look at it. It seems like they're out to prove a point that the Make America Great drive to do you like they want to do you, like they used to do you back in the day when they thought America was really great.
Come on.
You hear what I'm saying? Where they had their own will, like the little Karen, the new Karen.
Yeah.
See, stupid stuff like that. They don't mind doing you bad as long as they don't do you bad and get caught.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But they wanna do you bad, and they've been doing it so long underhandedly because of your buddy with the orange hair has come on the scene and reigned for a whole reign. You know what? You notice I use the word reign. Because they think he's the Messiah.
Yeah.
Theirs. And then they got some others of other persuasions that think the same way. Anyway, you have to watch yourself. Not be scared. Because I'm going to always do what I do. I'm going to do me. I don't care what they've got going on. Because I have somebody on my side that's greater than them. So I don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not gonna be out there acting a fool, putting myself. If I know that um, they might do something, there's certain areas that I'll avoid altogether.
Yeah. You're not going to intentionally put yourself in harm's way.
No,
Mhm.
no, no.
Let me do
That
this.
don't make no sense.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Let me do this. I'm gonna switch up the conversation just a little bit. And I want to hear your heart on what y'all really think about this topic we're about to go into. Dr. Cook, I'm coming to you first. And this is based on Dr. Cook, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Do our youth, do our young people, the young generation that's coming up right now, do they fear God?
A lot of them don't. Some of them do, based off of what their upbringing. But from what I see all across the United States, a lot of them don't. But in my church, there are some youth that do fear God because they know who God is, because they've been taught. But a lot of youth do not fear God because they don't value life. Some of them don't value life. And that's because of their upbringing. The church, a lot of parents fail to teach their children about God, about life. So I would say a great amount do not, but there are some youth that do fear God because they know who God is because of their upbringing.
Tucson, what do you say to that, man? Do you think the young people, our youth, do they fear God? Donald?
I was just talking, man. You got the phone on mute. I was going at it too.
Yeah, I know you
But,
was. I know. Talk to me.
but you can't fear nobody. You can't fear nobody you don't know nothing about because you haven't been taught thoroughly. You've been taught how to jump around and clown and act a fool and speaking this and that and the other. I almost said some stuff that I should have said. But we have taught them a form of godliness that they know that's not reality. We have preached prosperity, and some of them found that that's not true.
Yeah.
Just because you know God, you're gonna be rich. Just because you know Him, life is gonna be fair. And so we have pointed that lie out to them, and they're not interested. So we have to go back to the truth of godliness and righteousness by examples in our lives. And we fail in that way too. Because we tell them, don't do as I do as I say. That don't make no sense to them.
None.
But they real. They like keep it 100. Because that's what they do.
Yes, sir.
You know, I told y'all about a young lady I met the other day. Well, I met her before. But, you know, she goes through some things because her mom passed. And they stuff like that happens in young folks' lives. They take it serious. So she sat down there on the porch, and me and her sat on the porch, and you know the aunties and moms. Well, the aunties were sitting down on the porch with her, and she sat right there, and she rolled up a blunt, and they said, you know, that's real. You know, that's the preacher right there. She said, hello, Rev, nice to meet you.
Still,
but I'm finna light this fire.
Wow. Wow. See
what I'm saying?
Didn't matter one way or another.
But I didn't get offended about her. I want you to hear what I'm saying. She's at least she's honest rather than what we have done in the past. We're hypocritical.
Come on, say it.
We won't do something openly, but we'll do it underhandedly or sneaky or some kind of way, but we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, God know I'm doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're more honest before him than we are.
Come on.
The
Mm-hmm.
foolishness that we're preaching, they don't want to hear that. We want them to hear what we say and shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to be seen but not heard.
Yeah.
They got more to say about things now than we do
Come on.
because we're guessing.
Mm-hmm.
We've been taught something by ignorant people. And yeah, I don't take ignorance wrong.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Ignorance is not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
We've been handed down some of the things that we've been handed down, and it ain't true.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's not true. I mean, you look at we've been handed down stories that we saw on the movies,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna say this now. Shut up. All the movies were filled with a bunch of white folks.
Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. That's true. Dr. Cook,
They said you can have that, Jesus.
and Donna said something else real powerful. You can't fear something that you don't know. And so my question is, as a whole, we're not going to talk about. I'm sure that you know some good young people out there that really have a relationship with God. But as a whole, do you think the young people know who God is? Have any idea, or even care to know?
Some of them do, but a lot of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of young people think it is all about them.
Mm-hmm.
I basically tell my children all the time, my two daughters, you know, we were put here to glorify God, to live for God.
Yes. Yes.
So I basically told them, I want you all to know that, and I tell them often, you need to read your Bible. They have in their phones daily. They have the scriptures daily on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I told them, when you read it, you have to ask God for understanding when you read.
Yep.
I talk to them daily, and sometimes I have to repeat the same things. They tell me, "Mommy, you told me that before." I said, "That's fine. I basically want to know that you know
Mm-hmm.
the Bible."
Mm-hmm.
So I may repeat myself, but I just want to know that you know.
Yeah.
And you acknowledge that you heard me because you told me that you heard this before.
Mm-hmm.
But the things I tell you daily is placed on my heart for me to tell you again. I have to continue to plant that seed in you so you can plant that seed in your children to come.
Yep. Yep. That's good.
And I basically told them I've been charged with that. And my spirit is convicted when I tell you all those things in the Bible about God.
Mm-hmm.
I said many times He convicts me to tell you all this. So don't stop me when I'm trying to tell you. Maybe you need to hear it. I learned who God was at an early age, mm-hmm. and I'm glad I did. I'm saying my parents, I believe they were spiritual.
Yes.
But I said I know I saw some things that they may have been doing. But the thing is, they showed me who God is,
mm-hmm.
and I continue with it through my adulthood. Now, I'm not a perfect person. None of us are. I knew who God. You said what?
No, I say none of us are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So He was always there, and He never left me. There were times that a lot of things could have happened to me that was not favorable, mm-hmm. but God was there. I just say, but God.
Yes.
And I thank Him for keeping me, and I thank Him for bringing me back to where I am now. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it's all about Him.
And I live my life daily trying to be the virtuous woman that he wants me to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to instill the same things into my children and any other child that I come in contact with, because that's our charge. We need to bring others to discipleship.
Yes.
That's our duty.
Mm-hmm.
Bring them to God.
That's right.
So that's what I do. That's what I do daily.
And Donald, why do you think there's such a disconnect between some of our young people and their spirituality and their connection with God? Why do you think there's such a wide gap there?
Because we say it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much to be offered that is offered to them, and they choose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got some that put more emphasis on skin color
Mm-hmm.
than righteousness.
Come on.
I mean, see what I said, and what happens is a trick that the enemy uses. He causes, he does something that sounds true, and he's full of deception,
Mm-hmm.
just like he did in the garden. He says, God didn't say that. Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
He makes it say, he said, you shall not surely die. Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, you will.
Mm-hmm.
The day that you eat thereof, you shall surely die. Let me ask a question with his tricky self. How many people do you know that lived more than one day in the sight of God?
None.
Not now one.
None. Mm-mm.
None. We have to read between. See, what we have to do is listen to what the Spirit says rather than what man says.
Come on.
Because he tricky.
Mm-hmm.
See, what was Methuselah?
Yes.
Almost made it,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't.
Yep.
One day.
Mm-hmm.
So when see, we have a zeal, but it's not according to knowledge. He wants to know about God.
Come on. Say it.
We'll get a book about the Bible that discredits the Bible, but we use the Bible in our attempt to discredit it to make a point.
Mm-hmm.
That don't make no sense.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
They say the Bible is a lie, but according to Leviticus, wait a minute, hold up, get your own verse.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't use that. Hold on. Don't use that.
You can't use that.
You can't.
It's like a person says, "Well, I'm gonna make man." Well, you can't make him.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to get your own dirt.
Yeah. Come on.
You can't use what he has already created, what he has already established, and call it what you made.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
We start questioning God like Job did, and God comes back, because I did it. Well, even when my grandchild passed, I had a question about that.
Mm-hmm.
But he told me the same thing he told Job. Where were you?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I started this thing?
Come on.
How
Come
you
on.
gonna come to me and chastise me about what's mine?
Mm-hmm. Come on. Say it.
So Satan is tricky,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll use stuff that really, if you really look at it spiritually, it don't make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll get people to come about it. See, we'll follow anything. And before you know it, we'll do it again, try to build a tower up in Babel.
Yep. And you know how that worked out.
We-
And you know
We're
it.
in a confused state.
Huh?
We're in a confused state, aren't we?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now, Dr. Cook, Donna put a lot out there just now. What's on your heart, sis?
Um, I like listening to him. He gives a lot of great information.
Mm-hmm.
He's
You mean
he appears
Donald?
to be a man of wisdom.
You mean that fellow right there?
A man of wisdom.
You mean
Yes, he's a man of wisdom.
yes, sir. He is. Yes, ma'am. He sure is. Don't tell him I said that
And
though.
so he's a pastor?
Donald?
I at one time was I just I say a assistant pastor now, but yeah, uh, I I'm just a servant. That's what I do. That's what I am. I don't pay attention to a title. I
Mhm.
don't do that one.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right. Okay.
Just
I like what he said.
just a man out of God's own heart. How about that? Would that be sufficient, Donald?
Servant, I'm gonna take that one
Don't. Okay.
because when it's all said and done, that's what he's gonna be asking for.
Yeah. There you go.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Well, I totally agree with what he said. And as a young person growing up, um, you know, it's easy to push young people away.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I became a young adult, because as a child, adults always say, um, "Don't say anything to us because we know because we've been there." And so in the church, when I became an adult and when I became part of the auxiliaries, I would tell the ladies, um, "Do you all want to know actually what we see when we were children?"
Mm-hmm.
Because they often ask, um, why isn't there a lot of young adults in the church?
Yes.
As you as youth, we got to be there because our parents are taking us there,
Mm-hmm.
and our eyes see a whole lot. So when I became an adult, I would tell the ladies, the older ladies, um, it, I think it was your attitude, some of your attitudes, and how you talk to um, young boys and young girls.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk to them, you got to talk in love. Some of the ladies,
Say it.
even though they were called the mothers,
Mm-hmm.
some of them did know how to talk to the young ladies and the young boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell them, don't forget, you were once that child.
Yeah,
You were
exactly.
once us.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to basically be examples when you're talking to the young children, but you have to be firm with us. But you
Mm-hmm.
have to be sensitive when you talk to us. There's always a way to talk to children to keep them there. But there's also a way to talk to children and make them want to rebel and not come back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that we have to be cognizant of and be aware of what we're doing and how we're saying it. Um, I remember in a church that I used to attend, there was a young fellow. I think he was 15 or 16, and he was wearing saggy pants. And he was very respectful to adults. And the pastor came off the pulpit in front of the whole congregation and just pulled his pants up. Now, that embarrassed a young boy. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't disrespect the pastor, but I felt that could have been done. That could have been done in a more
Yep.
decent manner.
Exactly.
You don't want to embarrass. You don't want to embarrass children. You
Mm-hmm.
want to teach children,
Yeah.
and when you teach in love,
Mm-hmm.
and after that day after he did that, that child did not come back to the church.
Exactly. Yep.
He
You.
used to come to church every day. He did
Mm-hmm.
not come back,
Mm-hmm.
and so I often looked for him. And so when I saw his grandfather, I asked, "Where is your grandchild?" And he said he's not coming back here. And I knew it was because of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
You have to handle children in a sensitive manner.
Yep.
And in order to keep our children in the church, you have to do it with some sensitivity, but you have to be firm in the word, and you have to be fair with everyone. You don't treat other children differently than another person's child, and children see that too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of avenues.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do things spiritually.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
And you have to be of God.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying God treats all of us the same.
Mm-hmm. And
He
see,
has respect a person.
absolutely. And one of the things, and even in that situation right there, and I'm gonna tell you something, Dr. Cook. I think, and this is just me talking to Donna. I want to hear his opinion on it as well. I think that was done. That was handled terribly. I think that was handled terribly the way that he did that, especially a man in leadership like that. You know, that should have never happened. But, and this came to my mind as well. If I would have done something like that, and I'm certainly not perfect. I made so many mistakes, Lord knows. I'm probably gonna make about 150 of them today. You know, I pray that I don't, but you know, you never know. But my thing is this: had I done something like that, I would have pulled him to the front of the congregation and explained to him and the congregation, I did that because of this, because I know what God has in you, and I know how special you are, and how much you mean to God, and how much you mean to us, and the path that God has you on, that doesn't fit. And so please don't take it in a disrespect. I was not disrespecting you, young man. I just wanted you to know exactly who you are. I want you to know who you are and who you are to God. And had he done something like that, you know, hopefully maybe that would have eased the situation for the little boy, because you know he felt disrespected. The little boy felt disrespected. And Donald, I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't come back, because he felt disrespected in a place where he was looking to find some kind of peace, and he didn't find it there. Donald?
Excuse me. Let me just throw this one out here from this. You know how it says, Father, to provoke your children not to wrath.
Yes.
Yeah. This is just me. But the pastor is the father of the house.
Mm-hmm.
He's the angel of the house. He's the one that everybody looks to for protection, leadership, and guidance. And the last thing he wants to do, he needs to do, is in his actions not be biblically correct.
Mm-hmm.
If you got somebody that needs a correction, according to scripture, if I'm wrong, somebody come and tell me. You go to that person.
Yes. Come on.
Privately.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, here's the situation, whoever, whatever age they are. If they don't hear you, you've got to establish it by 2 or 3 witnesses. So you and 2 others, or 1 other, whatever the case may be, come here. I know that we talked about this before, but I'm bringing these brothers, spiritual brothers, because you don't bring nobody that's not spiritual.
Yeah.
Because if a brother is overtaken into a fault, you, but you're spiritual, don't go there just because you feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to mess them up.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about personal. We're talking about spiritual, soul, the soul of a man.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I got my pants hanging down, that does not exclude me from spirituality.
Come on.
I mean, we used to have bell bottoms, afros, and high heel shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Did that make us hellbound? No.
You talking about them stacks?
That was the yes, sir. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, just wanted to be clear. Okay.
we used to plait our hair, and my dad would cut the plaits too,
Mm-hmm. Good
because
Lord.
he didn't agree with it.
Uh-huh.
He'd cut your hair with the plaits in it.
Mm.
So would,
Wow. Your dad
but
didn't,
he was.
no, your dad didn't play, man. Your dad didn't play, bro.
No, he didn't play. You wasn't gonna get out of order.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you wasn't gonna do, because he had no problem with rebuking you openly.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you needed that
Mm-hmm.
in order to, because people in congregations will clap behind anything, and some of it's foolishness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I remember when one time the choir marched in on "I Believe I Can Fly,"
Oh Lord. Mm.
and he let them come in. They marched, you know, I used to march in, and they marched in on the annual day. And he let them come in, get in the choir stand, and he said, "Wait a minute, let me do this right here, right now." He said, "Ain't God in that?
Mm-hmm.
Don't y'all ever do that here no more,"
Mm-hmm.
because the congregation enjoyed it,
Yeah. And where'd you take him to?
and they was clapping. So you a little leaven spoils the whole lump.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't let things fester. But for to take a young person that really is trying, at least he was there.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a plus.
Exactly. Exactly.
We got to change it. We got to change our actions now because we're so far behind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because people are not interested. We got this pandemic that killed another uppercut.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't care if they got alcohol in their breath now. You leave them folks alone, and you give them the unadulterated word of God.
Come on.
Because you can't change nobody anyway.
Yep.
He says, "If I be lifted up, I will draw." You can't save nobody anyway.
My thing
So
is,
if we quit this foolishness and
Mhm.
preach the gospel, lives will change.
now didn't Christ go down to hell and snatch the keys from the enemy?
Mm. Mm. So I guarantee you one thing: it was the gospel that took him out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He told the disciples, and I don't care about Mike about this. He says, "I'm giving you the key.
Mm-hmm.
You got the key.
Yeah.
Whatever you bind in earth shall be bind in heaven. Whatever you loose, we keep binding stuff. That's pretty good, but we don't loose nothing.
Come on. Exactly.
And people need to be set free out of situations.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta do better."
Donald, a lot of times we can't, and I want to read what our public citizen said, but a lot of times we can't, man, because we so busy trying to judge each other. And I say this all the time. And our young people, they don't care how much you know. They just want to know how much you care. And once you let them realize that you care for them, I'm gonna tell you something. These young folks, man, will run through a brick wall. I know people, young folks, man, I could go to right now. Look here, this is what it is, and they'll stand in front of a tank, man, because they know I care for them, man. They know I care, man, and so you have to display that. Let me read this thing right here real quickly. This is public citizen. We got Rico. We're gonna go to Rico as well. 5 universal truths. 1, people feel the need to be respected. 2, people would rather be asked than to be told. 3, people have a desire to know why. 4, people prefer to have options over threats. And 5, people want to have a second chance. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, grand rising, everybody. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, brother. We're talking about a lot of different things, and right now we're talking about the young folks, and do they fear God, or do they even care or to know who He is, or where's that huge gap? And I just read you what our public citizen says. You could tackle either or. Which one you want to talk about?
Well, what he says applies. You know, we have this saying, stay in a child's place.
Mm-hmm.
And as adults, sometimes when you say stay in a child's place, not only do they confuse that, but the adults blur the line too, even pastors. See, that doesn't mean that I'm an adult, I do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm an adult, so I say what I want to say, and you just stay in your place and be submissive or passive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but in some instances, the church, and I don't want to just put this on all churches, but, you know, not even just the church, but when it comes to people that have a position of leadership, a position of power, people that have achieved certain titles, then they lose their minds. It seems like they get a little out of sorts. They blur the line between leading people and then feeling entitled. Feeling like that you can say and do what you want to do because you are who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my church. I'm a leader of this church, and I got a big congregation. And what I can do, regardless of your feelings, because I'm human, and I was a child once before, and I know this will embarrass you, but I'm more worried about teaching you a lesson my way. I must be doing something right, because if I wasn't a man and I wasn't doing the right things, I wouldn't be in this position that I'm in. So it's hard for them to judge themselves. It's hard for them to look at themselves and understand how they're supposed to approach certain things, because it gets to a point where they feel like every decision they make is right. So, you know, it's easy to blur the line. So now you take, for instance, what they were saying about this being the leader of the church. How number one, it was intentionally meant to embarrass the young man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the young man knew it, especially at 16, because young adults listen to us. And they hear us say respect your elders and, you know, how to carry yourself respectfully and this and that. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't let nobody do this and that to you. And then, you know, you come right back around, and because you've gained this position as a leader, all that goes out the window. You start thinking like a dictator.
Come on.
See, that's the difference. You know, there's a difference between being a leader and a dictator. You just don't go and put your hands on people. You already know that's not, I ain't gonna even say illegal, but just disrespectful. You wouldn't want nobody to come up and put their hands on you in the middle of you preaching the sermon and you using the wrong words. You know, but that I think that's something that really goes on in our culture, because I ain't never really heard white people say, stay in a child's place. This grown folk business or whatever, you know, but to a certain extent, after a child hears that, then it gets to a point to where they start looking at all people in positions of leadership as authority figures. And before you know it, you have them being weak and submissive, or always completely putting their hand, just, you know, being embarrassed to not say anything because of these people in that position. That's how they're supposed to respect these people. They're supposed to respect their elders.
Hey, Rico, let me ask you this.
They're not going to get blurred very easily.
Let me ask you this, and I love where you're going with this, man, because if they become submissive like that, and they've been told that their whole life and programmed, if you will, in that way, and then somebody come along, or a pedophile come along and put his or her hands on them, you know, they may put them deep in a place where they don't even want to tell nobody, because where do they turn? Who do they talk to? You know, you stay out of grown folk business. You know, you ain't got no business over here talking to these grown folk. Now, hold on, this child's over here trying to tell you that this person is putting their hands on them, and y'all need to address that. Y'all need to address
and just think subconsciously what that can do to that young man if he decides to come back. See, now here it is. He comes back, and even though he was uncomfortable with this man putting his hands on him, he still just, you know, I'm gonna be quiet. The man put his hands on me in front of people.
Yeah.
Now the next time he put his hands on you, might not be nobody around.
Exactly.
Because he see you comfortable. You came back. Yeah, I know I disrespected you. I know I pulled your pants up. I put my hands around your belt loop, your midsection, or where now they were sagging. So he might have grabbed them by the pants closer to some more private things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't even supposed to invade another person's space.
Yep.
You tell them, hey, pull your pants up. You don't reach down and grab them and pull the pants up for them. That's too close to their space.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know,
you violate.
If you get comfortable with that, next thing you know, Ain't nobody around. He want to put his hands on you again and rub you on your shoulders and massage you while he talking to you, just to see how comfortable you're going to be with him putting his hands on you. Nobody likes the space invaded.
Exactly. And he's totally violated that person. I'm gonna read what to one of the things that Public Citizen said, Rico. I think this is based on a comment that you said. I've seen so many videos of white pastors abusing their congregation. It's not just in the black churches. So he said that does happen in white churches as well, where I saw this one video where the dude, he was actually just going off on that man. He did everything short of cursing his congregation out. You know, the way he was going at them so hard, man, he might as well just use cuss words. Well, we got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, Glow. What's going on, y'all? This is Kurt, man.
Hey,
City.
Kurt, what's going on with you, brother? How you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm all right.
Man, listen,
Hanging in there.
well, we're talking about young people right now. You know, this is way out Wednesday, man, but we're talking about right now young people. Do they fear God, or do they even have any desire at all to know who He is in this day and time? And Dr. Cook told us about a story. I don't know if you was listening, but she shared a story where there was a young 16-year-old boy in church. The pastor up there, he up there bring teaching or whatever he's doing, and he stepped down off the pulpit. He stepped down off the pulpit, man, and reached and went down and pulled the little boy pants that was sagging up. Kurt, how much of a violation is that?
You know what? I missed that whole story, man. Your phone was breaking up bad.
Mm-hmm. No. That's something in the background. What somebody is. I don't know what that is. Yeah, somebody.
So you say a young boy in the church, and the pastor was doing what to him?
The pastor went down off the pulpit and pulled his sagging pants up.
Man, I don't know what to say about that, man. You know how I feel about this sagging thing. I don't know what to say about that.
But
I really don't.
Was the pastor in error?
I don't know what to say about that right here, because I got a biased opinion about that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That could have been that one moment in that young boy's life that he realized that type of dress and behavior is not going to be tolerated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you got to understand where the sagging thing come from. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he might have violated his personal space, but you know, in certain what's the word I'm looking for? Certain situations require certain decorum.
Okay, let me say this to you. So, let me say this, and this was the result. Maybe if I tell you what the result is, it may steer you in another direction. What's all that background? I'm hearing background noise from somebody lying, like somebody moving something or something. Everybody mute your lines for me. Everybody mute your lines for me, so we don't have that noise. Somebody got some terrible noise going on in the background.
Curtis, I think Curtis in his car, right? That might be the car and the traffic in the background and stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's where the noise coming from right there. That's where the noise coming from. But the result, mute your line, Kurt. Okay, good. There we go. The result of what happened was the young boy, that evening when he left the church, that afternoon, whatever time it was, when he left the church, he never returned. He never returned to the church. He never came back to church. And so my question is, what happened in that whole psyche of the whole thing? What did that pastor potentially push this little? Because the boy, like Donald was saying, the boy was at least coming to church. The boy was at least in church when that happened. He was there in church. He was making an effort. But when that happened, the boy left church and never came back. So what did that pastor potentially push that boy off into? Did he really kick him? Did he kick him into the fire, or what? Or what? Because now the boy don't come to church at all. Go ahead, Kurt.
Well, he may have did that, or he may have pushed him down the block to another church. You know, if the young man was searching, the one thing about kids, that I can always count on is that when kids go searching, they don't stop searching until they find. They may go about it several different ways, you know what I'm saying? And some ways may not be as positive as we may want them to be, but you know, they're gonna keep searching. So I mean, he may have pushed them back to the streets. Any number of things. I mean, I wouldn't have done it that way. If I would have been in the pulpit, I would have turned it into a sermon and used him, say, "Hey, young man, you know, come here. If you don't mind, come here. I need you to help me out with this sermon." I would have made him a part of the sermon, a part of the lesson, all the while teaching him a lesson. So I wouldn't have went there. The pastor's actually lucky he didn't get judged at, for real. You know, just off an impulse, somebody grabbing my pants, pulling my pants up, I'm liable to bang you in the mouth. So, I mean, but, I mean, some pastors, man, some pastors, in all reality, you know, it ain't pastors, it's people. Man, people in this world got a God complex, man. I hope you know that, bro. And most of the people with a God complex are the people that's going to go sit down and listen to the word every week, 3-4 times a week. Listen to this. I was listening to y'all talking when y'all was talking about, you know, the things that you've heard in a white church and the things that you've heard in a black church and this, that, and the third, right? And I'll tell you something I caught on to. This is no disrespect to my Caucasian American brothers who preach it, but I'm going to tell it like it is. Y'all stop preaching this fire and brimstone foolishness. Stop it. It's okay to preach accountability. You understand? But this fire and brimstone thing, you ain't doing nothing but making people scared to worship God. Because I paid attention to how they deliver their message. And a lot of their message, especially in the Bible Belt, is centered around getting you to fear the consequences of your actions. If that's the whole message, no wonder the saints of the church is so wild. And so, because everything about fear and consequences is based on God. It's not based on, what is the consequences of my actions here on earth? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. It's weird. You listen to black preachers, they preach love, they preach prosperity, they preach, be mindful that God is going to hold you accountable. They preach fire and brimstone, but it's just different. The way it's laid out is different.
Good deal. Let me do it.
Hold on. Just let me finish this. I was coming through Georgia one time, right there on the 441. I would never in my life forget this, man. I was coming through Georgia on the 441, coming out of Tifton, Georgia. And you know how on Sundays, in Georgia, you can listen to do they call them televangelists, Raheem?
Yes.
If they on the radio,
yes.
They call them televangelists. So I was listening to some televangelists, right? And I'm gonna tell you, I heard the most disturbing thing I've ever heard in my life come out of a pastor's mouth. This pastor told his whole congregation, right, and all the listeners of his radio station, that it is okay to discriminate because Jesus Christ was a discriminator. And then gave them verse and text.
Okay. Hold on, let me pull some more people in. Hold on, brother. I'm about to come back to you, man. Hold on, because that's you putting some stuff out there right now. Doctor, mute your line for me, Kurt. Mute your line for me. Dr. Cook, what's on your heart? Mute your line, Kurt. Dr. Cook, what's on your heart?
I was just listening to everyone speak, and I like the information that's being presented. And at first I thought Brother Kurt was going to be very biased to that situation with the young man, but I like what he said. Mm-hmm. I'm saying with children, you have to do some things. You have to take them away from all their other peers to not embarrass them, because we don't know how youth are going to take things. And I always, basically, I look at myself as a child. And so when I look at myself as a child, if I was in that situation, how would I want to have been treated? So that's how I'm always careful when I'm dealing with children, mm-hmm. because you have to put yourself in their situation. So this past year, as a teacher and doing things virtually, I had to not really stoop to the children's level, but I had to basically understand all the different situations a lot of the children may be living in on virtually. I had to find out that I'm teaching them from home. I'm teaching them from their home. So mm-hmm. the way you handle things in the classroom is going to be totally different than the way you handle them virtually. Everything is totally different. So you have to handle each case individually, mm-hmm. and you have to handle each child individually, and you have to do things in love, with love. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate what Mr. Rico said, Mr. Pastor Toussaint, and Brother Kurt. Mm-hmm. All of them basically presented some good knowledge and some good wisdom, and I appreciate it. Absolutely. I really do.
And hold on now, Dr. Cook, you put some knowledge and wisdom out there too. Now we're not gonna leave you out, sister. You put some knowledge and wisdom out there too. We definitely appreciate you as well. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Donna, come to you next.
Yeah, I like what everybody's saying, man. I mean, Curtis took every word out of my mouth. I couldn't wait till you got back to me and had some more waste of time, man. I was gonna say that about that fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen those preachers, those pastors that would preach against interracial marriages. If you come to my church, I ain't gonna marry you. I don't care what you say. The Bible speaks against it. It's an abomination to God. You listen, man. You took in a church and he's screaming it. Mm-hmm. Fear mongering. So yeah, I've seen that, but I still at the same time, in general, I've seen more black people with this stay in a child's place mindset. Now you might, like I said, you do hear it in the fire and brimstone church with white people, but he's pretty much saying that to the entire congregation. You don't even have to be in church to hear one of us tell a child stay in their place. Mm-hmm. Or to act like they ain't got no common sense to see what's going on. Well, Mama, I just heard you sit up and lie to these people and tell them that you didn't have the money, but you spent the money on this and that. Stay in the child place. Mm-hmm. Well, Mama, you always told me to be honest and tell the truth. Yeah. Stay in the child place.
Rico, does she sound like that, no brother?
You know how they do when they get frustrated.
Yes,
shut up. They don't want you calling them out on what they're doing, they're wrong doing.
Yeah.
Same thing with some preachers. Mm-hmm. Do as I say and not as I do. And that comes with that God complex. But see, me, I always felt like, number one, I know pastors are human. They are human. They are, they're gonna have flaws, and nobody's perfect. Mm-hmm. But when you're in that situation or that position to pastor the people, to me, there should always be this "what would Jesus do?" question.
Yeah, yeah.
In the back of your mind, mm-hmm. Even if you're not a pastor, but you're just good at heart, righteous, kind of compassionate, and you don't like hurting people, that "what would Jesus do?" is always the question. But then you take it a step further than that. When you ask what he would do, and if you think of something differently than what you had thought about doing, ask yourself, why wouldn't he do it the way you thought about doing it?
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Then you'll get to the point, the reason why you should walk a certain path. See, as a pastor, like Curtis said, he lucky he didn't get popped in the mouth. That little boy could have been a push-up king.
Mm-hmm.
No telling what his past was. Maybe somebody in the past came to him and messed him up, grabbing him around his waist.
Yep.
Putting their hands on him, taking advantage of his youth. So now he coming to church to get some therapy, but he ain't opened up and told nobody. He just in there to try to get some straightening in his life because of what he went through, and he trying to walk a path with God. Then here you go. You remind him of a Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
You remind him of somebody came back and put their hands around his waist once before, and it made him feel uncomfortable.
Yep.
But he respected. He didn't want to hit you, but he had to catch himself because he felt more uncomfortable than you.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, why wouldn't Jesus just go and put his hands on somebody? Why would he take a different approach? Because he would want people to do him as he would want to do people as he would have them to do him.
Exactly.
If you don't want nobody putting their hands on you, invading your space, then why would you feel like you have the authority to invade someone else's?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because you have a God complex, a leadership complex, accomplishment complex? Because some people do get very caught up in their title and they throw all kind of, I'm gonna say, morality out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Compassion and respect, they throw it out the window.
Mm-hmm. And see the thing about it too, and I love where y'all are going with this, man. I've seen a bishop and say this right here. Me and my wife were sitting in the congregation, and he said this. It was doing a Bible study one Wednesday night, having a discussion, and he didn't agree with some of the things that people were saying, and so a decision had to be made. And what he said was this: he said, "Man, y'all can say what y'all want to say, but you got to understand, it's my name outside that door, my name on that whatever we called it, sign outside the door. That's my name out there. Hold on now. Well, so are we supposed to be following you because your name is out there and you make all the decision? Or are we supposed to be following God? Which one? Because if you telling me that because it's your name out there, you make all the rules and you are the Almighty, I got to get out of here, man, because I'm in the wrong place. Tucson, what do you say?
You know what I told the pastor? You know what I told the pastor when he said that one time right here?
What's that?
I leaned over to him. He says, I was a minister, so I leaned over to him and I whispered in his ear and I said, "You do know your name can be removed."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, sometimes and I feel for pastors, man, because the one thing that sometimes as parishioners we forget is that the things that a pastor has to deal with, man, can be so emotionally exhausting, draining, and honestly, you give your life, whatever life that is, you have made a conscious choice to give your life don't belong to you anymore. It don't belong to your wife. It don't belong to your kids. It belongs to the flock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you really think about it, man, if you just go with a day-to-day, a pastor who is really doing pastoral work and really dedicated to his flock, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a human being, how much time does he really get to himself? Because let's just say that pastor had 500 dedicated parishioners, right? Let's just say he got 500 dedicated church members. Can you imagine how many deaths that he go through in a week? How many sicknesses he go through in a week? Kids not acting right in the house. He getting them calls. He getting a call from the board, from the steward board saying bills need to be paid out of that. So, and this is not to defend inappropriate behavior. Please, nobody take what I'm saying to that level, because that's not how I mean it. But what I'm saying from a humanistic point of view, the pastor got to have an outlet, man. And some folks will say, well, his outlet is God. I get that. But even the pastor has to be tested. He has to, his trial is his trial in all reality is 10 times worse than our trial. It's just like if you look at the story of Yahshua, right? Yahshua's trial was 10 times worse than Peter's trial. Peter's trial, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you was with him. Ain't you one of them? No, that wasn't me. And he could have just walked away and nobody would ever bother him. He wouldn't have died the way that he died. Nobody would ever bother him.
Mm-hmm.
Christ, Yahshua, had to be accused, tried, and not sentenced, but he was accused, tried, brutally beaten,
Mm-hmm.
sentenced, all for nothing.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
when you look at Yahshua, you take, okay, if you say, well, he was the Son of God. Okay, true indeed, right? From a spiritual perspective, he was the Son of God. But from a human perspective, he was a man. From a human perspective, he was a pastor. That's what he was. He was a pastor. So I think sometimes we can kind of, we look, because he's the pastor, we have a tendency to look past the dilemmas and the occurrences that's going on in the human interaction of being a pastor.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Because he's a man of the clergy,
Mm-hmm.
he's supposed to know better.
Exactly.
He's supposed to do better. But at the end of the day, he's still a human being, and we are flawed by nature. Now, I'm not making excuses for a pastor that's doing inappropriate stuff. I'm just saying at some point, we have to sometimes look and say, well, you know what? He's still a man.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Let me do this. Let me pour 2 songs. What's on your heart, brother? It's good today, man.
We have to have some wisdom about ourselves
Mm-hmm.
in leadership.
Yeah.
If you're a leader and you doing everything all the time, you are not wise.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you why I say that. Jethro, I think it was, watched Moses with all them people, and everybody was coming to Moses with all them problems. Jethro said, that ain't good. That's not good.
Mm-hmm.
That thing that you're doing is not good. So there was, I think, 17 that was picked among the people that was given the spirit of Moses to help him with issues that the people were facing. When I think Paul gave some instructions that you choose 7 men full of the Holy Ghost, because you don't need to be serving tables. What I'm saying is, you got deacons, you got trustees, you got somebody that can deal with stuff so that you can go somewhere and sit down somewhere and take a break.
Yep.
Okay, your family, if you're not willing to take care of your family and you at the church all the time and your family suffering, your children don't know where their daddy at, what's wrong with you? You think it's all about you. Like, just like Rico said, you got a God complex.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be because your name is on it. You don't have to do everything. That don't mean nothing. The scripture says,
Hey, Michelin Kirk.
The scripture says, on this rock, I'll build my church. Not Tucson church. I ain't got no church. Some people walk up to me and they say, hey, Bishop. I say, how you going to be a bishop and you ain't got no church?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what happened at our church. Okay, the church that I'm affiliated with, they have openly, the pastor came in and he openly said, okay, this is my assistant. This is the assistant to the pastor. This guy here, right here, out of all the preachers. And one of the deacons came to me and he says, you know, we got your back. Whatever you need, you let us know. 15 minutes later, he came to me, same one. He said, now don't let that go to your head. You know what I told him?
Mm-hmm.
I said, it'd be too noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be too noticeable.
Yeah.
If I let it go to my head.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been around here for a long time. Don't know how I am. I ain't gonna be nobody but me.
There you go.
I ain't gonna let no title, no position stop me from serving. Because of the title, you gotta be kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know people will educate you on how they feel. So we don't need to develop a God complex because somebody calls us a certain thing. Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
We
Exactly.
need to go back to basics.
Mm-hmm. Right. All how you say all the way back, all the way back. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
You got me by surprise then. I thought you were going to Virginia. Yeah, I mean, you know, it really is that complex that people have. I realize that in general, it's like human nature for us to want to be recognized. So, you know, when you said that about the man passing from the church,
Mm-hmm.
or well, not even passing from the church, but saying that about the name, his name being on the church, I automatically know that every time that man passed by that church or he pulled up in there, he said, look at that, that's my name.
Mm-hmm.
Look what I done did. Subconsciously, he probably thinking to himself, yep, I done made it. I done came a long way. I remember such and such said I wasn't gonna do nothing, I wasn't gonna be nothing. And look at me, got my own church.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, what you doing with yourself? Oh man, I got me a church. Then our pastor said, you know, they probably ain't saying, well, hey, God placed me in a church. They probably ain't realizing or even respecting the reality of it is that, look, man, you can be put up out that thing. And if you do have 500 or 1,000 people in your congregation and you doing all the work, you're doing it for the glory.
Mm-hmm.
You're being a very selfish individual because you got to have deacons, you got to have assistants in order to help you carry on with all the functions of that church. You can't do it all.
Mm-hmm.
You can't handle all that, handling everybody's problem. Being a marriage counselor, you got to be there for the most important problems. Other than that, you got to have people beneath you that weed through some of the problems that you might not have to address.
Yep.
They can probably address it for you. So, you know, if you are that person that's going above and beyond as a human being to try to be the complete only leader for that church, then you're doing it for clout.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing it for recognition. You're doing it to pat yourself on the back so you can make yourself feel better. This might not even be for everybody else to feel good and say, hey, look at Rico, he got him a church. Yep. It might be just for you to sit back and say, look at what I done did.
Mm-hmm.
I done solved another problem.
Mm-hmm.
They love me. I done counseled another couple. Yeah, you go around and tell everybody, well, today I counseled a couple. They ought to be getting married, such and such. And so called me and told me he needed a bill paid, so I had to go do this and that, do this. All this recognition you want, suffering from ADHD, you know. So are you really doing what Jesus would do? Are you doing it for the reason why Jesus would do it? Are you sincerely pastoring for the congregation of the uplift mankind of society? Or are you doing it to prove to yourself that you are somebody?
Absolutely. And a lot of times that's what it is, self-recognition. A lot of times that's what it is. Dr. Cook, what's on your heart?
Okay. My thing is, I think a lot of the pastors don't know the difference to being a man of God, being a pastor at a church.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them may have forgotten. I think politics has come into a lot of the churches too.
Yes.
And so people lose what the main reason for being that the man of God in the church. So
that's what I've been seeing. People, the pastor or the man of God of that church, you're there for a reason. And you see some pastors into everything. They want to be a part of the finances. They want to be a part of this. They want to be a part of that. And basically, that's an overload. And when you start, and to me, that's like being a dictator. You want to be a part of everything. You want to know everything instead of doing the job that you're called there to do. And I think that's what has gotten, that's what has come in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people basically give them that power.
Yeah.
Just like it is out here in the world. The leaders of each country. Some leaders become dictators because we give them that power. But we're supposed to know what we're supposed to do. If God places there to be over the flock, we're supposed to know what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And our spirit's supposed to be convicted if we're getting out of place.
Come on.
So our spirit will be convicted if you are the person that God placed in that church. Sometimes God didn't place people in those churches. They placed themselves there.
Mm-hmm.
So we have. Go ahead.
No, I say it.
I'm saying, well, if you place yourself somewhere and God didn't place you there, I would hate to be in that person's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you leave the congregation wrong.
Mm-hmm.
As a person of God, as a woman of God, I know what I'm supposed to do, and I do it because I know that I'm going to be beaten with many stripes if I leave someone wrong. And that's a hard position to be in as a pastor, as the next person to God. He's holding you accountable for a lot of different things. And we have to look at that seriously. And I take things very seriously, especially when I'm dealing with God's people.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
That's a very important position to take, a very important position to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And if your spirit is not convicted, and when you're doing something wrong, or when you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's just something.
Yeah, that's one of the moments. Absolutely. And I'm gonna read what Public Citizen wrote here, and I'm gonna go to somebody. I don't know who I'm gonna go to right now, but it says this: that whole mentality of being above the regular people is terrible. Teachers, pastors, cops, parents, all can get that ego trip going. We all are men and women, period. None of us are gods.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My sister responded to that one. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Toussaint? He's just talking and he don't know it. The brother don't know he's on mute. He don't know he's talking to himself. Rico, why he get and find that mute button? What's on your heart, brother?
That goes back to what I was saying a second ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's common for human beings to want to feel like they are somebody.
Yeah.
And the best way you can make somebody feel like they've achieved or accomplished something, give them a title.
Mm-hmm.
Put a title on it. But see, sometimes those people choose those titles, but really and truly, the title should choose you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I believe people should be called a pastor. But I know so many people that choose pastoring when really and truly they should only be activists.
Mm.
They should only be advocates. They should be out here doing humanitarian work and not in the pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
So they just can't get right
Mm-hmm.
because they wouldn't call the pastor. They felt like pastoring would be a good idea for them to have an influence and impact on people. But you still don't know the ways of Jesus and God or spirituality or Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
You deep down inside didn't receive that calling. God ain't talking to you. You talking to yourself because you want to make an impact. And your title might influence or make people believe that you're having an impact. It actually will make people call on you because they see that title. Oh, you're a pastor. Let me ask him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there go a reverend. Ask him. Oh, there go a policeman. Call them and tell them to come break up this fight. We don't break up fights. We just come after the fight.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know, they changed up their job title responsibility so much. But those titles, he said it all. Public citizen said it all. Those cops, man, when they put their uniform on, some of them believe they turn into a whole different person.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, when they take it off, it's hard for them to take it off though because they know that they could go in a phone booth and put it back on.
Yep.
You see, it's like they're living in a secret identity. The true them, oh, you don't know who I really am. You out here acting a fool. You talking and cussing loud in the middle of the mall. They don't know I'm a cop. If I had this cop uniform on, I bet they wouldn't be acting all rowdy and disrespectful. But you don't forget that I'm a cop. Come here, shut your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You off duty. You pulling a Tupac in Atlanta now. You want to shoot at people because you think since you're a cop, you got the same authority while you are off duty to tell people what to do.
Mm-hmm.
All because you feel entitled by your title. So, you know, we got to always remember that these titles don't mean nothing. You put your pants on one leg at a time, you're going to bleed like me, you're going to die like me.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could do something to you to hurt you just in the same way they can hurt me. The only thing is they might have a few more consequences because of your job title. It might get a little bit more attention. But if I'm in the ground or in the hospital, it don't matter
Mm-hmm.
what your title is and what his title was.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's a big issue. I think that word clout, that's what they call it now, clout. That is a huge issue with people. And like I said, when you talk about clout, it's all about wanting to be recognized. And with that recognition comes some entitlement and perceived privileges.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother?
Not really, man. Folk need to just get a grip. You know what I mean? Like, get a grip. At the end of the day, none of us know better than the other one, man. We all got our own crosses to bear. Ain't none of us perfect. We all got our own ups, downs, sides. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like, you know, being in the field that I'm in, you know, you hear alcoholics talk down, talk bad about drug addicts. You know what I mean? You hear drug addicts sometimes talk bad about alcoholics. You hear fornicators and adulterers talk bad about those things. All at the same time, man, at the end of the day, every single one of us got a thorn in our side, man. But, you know, that's the human experience. The human experience constantly searches for a need to be better than the person right next to them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad because it's the one ploy that is constantly being used that separates the masses. Is I have a need to be better than you. I have a need to feel like I'm a better person than you. And, you know, in some marriages, for real, that whole ideology can destroy a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll have one spouse working their butt off to be better than the other spouse, to make more money than the other spouse, to have more prestige than the other spouse. When in reality, the truth is, if you're my spouse and I have prestige, as a man, I'm gonna make sure you got it too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But it is what it is, man. Like, you know, I mean, we can beat the rug until all the dirt come out, but it's just a human experience, man. And sad to say we got to experience it, especially when we believe as a God and we trying our best to do what we can, you know. Just like I've heard somebody say, and I tell you, I heard a parent say this to their son one time. And I had to stop the session, like, hold on now, we're not going to do that, son. Do me a favor, go on up to your room. I need to talk to your mama.
Mm-hmm.
They was having a conversation, and the kid basically was like, you know, I'm trying, I'm doing my best. And the parent said to the kid, well, your best ain't good enough.
Wow. Wow.
Man, I lost. Whoa. What?
Let's hold on. Let's stay right there for a second. And Donna, are you there? Donna, are you there? Donna? Lord, I think Donna having a problem with that mute, but let's go to Dr. Cook. Dr. Cook, and when the parents say something like that to a child, how disheartening, because I want to stay right there for a second. Kirk, put something out there. When the parents say, well, your best isn't good enough, and the child say, and with a sincere heart, I'm doing the best I can. How disheartening could that be to that child?
Very disheartening. Very disheartening. And when he said that, I thought about what I told my youngest daughter. And she told me that she did the best she could. My youngest daughter she's very, very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a grade, and I knew that she could have done better because I watch her. And so she basically told me, she said, Mom, you put too much pressure on me. And one thing I've taught my children to do is to come to me and talk to me. That opened my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And when she told me she did the best that she could, I didn't accept it, but I accept it now. Because
Mm-hmm.
she basically spoke up and said, Mom, you're putting too much pressure on me.
Yeah.
I did do the best that I could.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes as parents, we can't see that unless the child basically tell us that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very happy that she told me she did the best she could. Sometimes we as parents, basically, we expect our children to go way beyond.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to basically accept some things. We have to listen to our children. And we don't, and we shouldn't ever want to put our children down, saying that they can do this and they can do that. Your best is not good enough. I would not tell my child that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's hurtful. But she probably looked at it as a way of trying to push them even more.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my daughter, I said, I just basically talked to her, and I told her, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. And if I said anything that hurts you, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to own that. We have to look at and put ourselves in that, in our children's, our predicament, their situation, or either if you're teaching, you have to look at that child as well and put yourself in that child's situation. And I offered my help. If there's anything else that I can do to assist you, please ask me. But I just, the way he said it, I could see exactly where he was coming from,
Mm-hmm.
Brother Kurt.
Yeah.
And that parent said that because you should never tell a child your best is not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
We should never say that to a child or anyone's children.
Exactly.
Because then you're knocking that child down.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when he said that, I had to look back at what I said to my child before. And when she basically responded to me, that opened up my eyes. I need to basically see and offer any other help that I can.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we push our children too much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
and
good.
we need to recognize that. We need to recognize our words mean something.
Absolutely. That's good. That's good. We got a caller from the 404 area code. I think it might be Bishop. Bishop, that's you?
Yeah, it's me, my brother. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Bishop
morning.
Gregory Adams from Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to have you, sir. Now we're talking. This is way out west, and what we're talking about right now is Kurt put a story out there, and he said that there was a child, and was talking to the mother, and he was there, witnessing the conversation, and the child said that he did the best, the best that he could do. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. Say he did the best that he could do, but the mother said that his best is not good enough. Bishop, how disheartening could that be for that child to hear the mother say that to him?
Well, that can be very heart-wrenching when, you as an individual, you've exhausted everything you can. You've applied yourself to the best of your ability.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a parent comes along and say, your best ain't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very, heart-wrenching. And I'm pretty sure the confidence of the relationship between him and mother may have put a little small wedge there. You can push your children to be the best that they can possibly be. But understand, I think Kirk used the phrase that ain't nobody perfect. My take on that. And I also understand where it's coming from in the fleshly sense. We are not robots.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot do what you think you want us to do like robots. But
Mm-hmm.
we are individuals that do our best or to the best of our ability.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hate to experience something like that. My son, he's a scientist and he works at NIH, and when he was in college, he got a B+ on an assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And I was glad he got a B+, but he himself was not. And he went back to the professor and he compared his work to someone else's work, and he told him, no, I'm not going to settle with the B+. I need an A.
Mm-hmm.
And he went all the way up to the dean of that department to say, hey, look at my work. Look at what I've done. Now, he applied himself, and that B+ did become an A, because he said, if he's doing it, it's different. If I had done it and say, hey, you got that B, you should have got an A and act the fool. But I don't know the workload or the, class and how daunting it was for him just to get that B.
Mm-hmm.
But he felt like he deserved that. He got the A, but he pushed himself. I didn't have to push him.
There you go.
But for a parent to say something along those lines, no, man, I'm gonna bring it down to your level. It ain't cool.
I'm gonna bring it down to my level. I sure appreciate that. Thank you, sir. I can understand.
Yeah. You one of them hip brothers. You can rap, you can sing, you can do all this stuff. So when you be rapping, you got to bring it down to my level.
But see, my thing is this right here. I can understand all them big fancy words you was using anyway, brother. I'm glad you brought it down to my level.
Man, I ain't messing with you.
We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
I mean, this Kurt. I'm calling back. I had to walk in the building into my office.
Okay. Now I think we have another caller as well. Someone else just called in. Do we have another caller?
God bless you, everybody. It's Minister Jawan. Just listening to the show.
Hey, how you doing, sir? Good to have you. Good to have you this morning. Now, what do you?
I'm wonderful. How are you, sir?
Hey, doing well. I just need to know, what do you say? And better yet, let me because the question was just posed. I want to pose this question to you all as well. Public Citizen said, so what is a better response? What is a better response? That if you know the child is not doing their best, what would have been a better way for that parent to address that situation? Juwan, what do you say to that?
Well, I mean, I'm again, as usual, I'm loving the conversation today as far as preachers and everything, but again, with the same statement that the gentleman made, where you said the mother said to the son, well, your best is not good enough.
Yes.
That's one of the most hurtful things you can say to a child.
Mm-hmm.
A son or a daughter who looks up to you, who's trying their best to make sure that you approve, and then when you tell them their best is not good enough, that makes them feel lower than low. Remember, the Bible does say, fathers, provoke not your children to wrath.
Mm-hmm.
So you can provoke a child to say, well, my best ain't good enough, so I might as well not do nothing. So that's provoking them to wrath. That's against what God wants for us who once were children and now we're adults, to lead our children or the children that's coming up under us the wrong way. Bible says it's better for a millstone to be tied around your neck than for you to be at the bottom of the sea, than for you to offend one of God's little ones. That's any child. So that's definitely the word. I mean, that's one of the worst things you can say, in my humble opinion, to a child, that your best is not good enough. That means anything you do, nothing you do is good enough.
Wow. And so, do you,
my God, that's just wrong on so many levels.
now, do you think that would discourage the child and make the child even stop trying?
Absolutely. Take it from someone I had learning disabilities when I was younger, where it was easier for me to learn with my hands than for me to learn just from notebook and pad. So when we were doing things where it was student participation, I learned a lot faster, a lot quicker than when you had to just study it from the book and then memorize it, things like that. But to discourage anyone, whether it be a child or whoever, but to discourage a child when all they know how to do is their best. That's just wrong on so many levels, in my humble opinion.
Okay, Rico, what would have been a better verbiage that she, and to Public Citizens question, what would have been a better response that she could have made at that time?
Well, if she knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that he wasn't doing his best, she used the best verbiage. Because see, the thing is that we got to understand and realize that not only amongst children, some homeless people, some people just want to take the easy way out. They're lazy. They don't want to make any kind of effort if it doesn't come easy. So take, for instance, a child with a list of 10 spelling words. And over 4 days, they having a tough time learning those 10 spelling words that begin with the first 2 letters, the same first 2 letters, maybe 3. And they still can't get all these words right. But they could go listen to a little Megan Thee Stallion, and the next day they got that song memorized. You ain't doing your best. You ain't doing your best because, see, you ain't feeling like doing it. So sometimes a parent knows. Sometimes you have to sit back and let that parent say what they're going to say, because when they get home, they see that child might clean up that room because they want to go get some ice cream, or clean up that room because they want this new video game. But when it's time to clean up the room just because they're supposed to, Mom, I did my best. They don't feel like them. Sometimes these children, you have to bribe people sometimes too.
Yeah.
For them to do their best. Because it ain't something they felt like doing. I know adults and children like that. Complete slobs. Won't clean up or anything. But then let a woman come around and they go acting like Mary Mays. Wait a minute. So you don't think enough about yourself to keep your house as clean as possible? See, there's like 2 questions that comes with that, or 2 angles. Did you do your best, or did you do the most that you was going to allow yourself to do? See, sometimes you have to put the neck out on the line and go above and beyond. And if that hasn't been taught to a child, and that parent knows that child doesn't have that in them, built into them, to go ahead and go to step beyond to accomplish their goals, then they know their children probably taking the easy way out. And believe me, parents know when they got lazy children. You know, when you can cook accurately and use all the ingredients to make a perfect meal, but then when it's time for you to wash dishes, you still got grease and food all over the utensil. You don't feel like washing dishes. You don't like washing dishes. So you know, you have people like that are very lazy. They only make an effort. They only want to make an effort toward things that they really have a drive for, things that they really want to accomplish, a craving for, things that they want to do. But another time they might fall very short, and they have all the potential in the world. Now it can be demoralizing that that person can't help it. Like, I have a speech impediment. I still have problems saying the word 3, the number 3. When I was young, I used to run on my tongue. They used to laugh at me. Then my mom get frustrated. You know, just say it this way. Just say it this way. I'm doing my best. I still didn't know how to control my tongue with this underbite. So, you know, sometimes you can't help it. After a while, I did learn to say it. I learned to say the number 3 without being laughed at, without it standing out so obvious that I had problems saying certain words. But it took a long time for me to get that. And sometimes on the outside looking in, even your parents and others looking in don't understand really what you got to go through because they don't understand your flaws, your disability, your impediment, or whatever it is you're going through. So, you know, it's all about the situation. There's levels to it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if that, like Public Citizen said, if that woman knows they didn't do their best, but that child said they did do their best, she said exactly what she's supposed to say. Well, your best ain't good enough. I don't think you did your best. I just think you did the most you was gonna do, and that's all you were gonna allow yourself to do. Because I know you can do better. You can learn a song in 2 or 3 hours, but you can't learn your spelling words in 5 days. Come here.
What if because I'm taking this approach too with my daughters. They brought something to me, and everybody mute your line because we got some background noise coming from Spotted Line. But they brought some stuff to me, and I didn't think it was the absolute best. Now, I didn't say your best ain't good enough. I never said that. But I would say something like this. I'll say, well, look here, it's okay, but let's go back and try one more time. Go back and try one more time, and see can you bring me something a little different. Try again.
I think it depends on the situation. You know, I use this for example. Dexter Manley and so many other supreme elite athletes that we've had over the years that couldn't read. Some that we went to high school with, they just couldn't get their schoolwork. They may have been in special ed, but they get out there on that football field and learn that whole playbook.
Yeah.
They can remember the plays, all the little intricacies in between them that make each play different. They know the terminology and everything. Man, that's algebra and English and history and all tied into one. That memory that you choose to use, remember that you play because you love football, you love sports, you love basketball, you love scoring, you love competition. So now you make a lot more effort because you're interested in it. But when it comes to you getting this history 101, American history class of earth science, man, you ain't studying no photosynthesis.
Exactly.
I can't do nothing about no photosynthesis. No, I ain't studying no flowers. I don't even like plants. I don't even eat vegetables. Oh, the stars and the planets. I ain't never going to space, no way. That stuff scared me. I ain't studying that. I'm not here to. They ain't studying it.
Yeah, exactly.
They ain't concerned about that. So it's walking them to pass those classes because that isn't anything they're interested in. But you know, if they really tried and had a passion for it, they could do better. So they ain't doing their best.
Good deal. And what we're talking about, because we got a few people that just called in, I want to catch them up to speed. What we're talking about, Kirk brought a scenario to the table where I think he was counseling some people. And the mother and the son was there, and the son was a younger child or whatever the case. And the child was doing something, and the mother said, you know, you're not doing your best, and the child said, I'm doing the best that I can. And then the mother, her response was, well, your best is not good enough. And I'm asking the question, how harmful, how much damage could she have done to that child in saying that? How harmful could that have been? 816 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Kansas City, K with the E.
Okay, what's on your heart? And good morning to you, sis. How you doing this morning? And what doing well. What how damaging could that have been to that child? Cassandra, coming to you next.
It could be very damaging. It just depends. But if that child know his mother and she know her son, like they said, and you said you're doing the best you can, you're playing. That's all you're doing. You're just playing. So when you get tired of playing, I tell my grandkids that, like, you know, they all had to do homeschool at home over here with me. And when I tell y'all they all passed and I found out 2 didn't, that's because once they left, they left here and went home, their mama didn't do what I did. But every last one of my grandkids passed except for those 2. And I told my daughter it falls on parenting, because when they were here, we didn't have a problem. They were passing and their grades was up to par. Now you're saying, letting them tell you that they did their best, and that ain't their best. So you settling for less for them to tell you they did their best and they failed. How is that your best? Don't nothing come to tell you but to keep up, to get up and try it again. Get up and try that again. Like my little grandson, he couldn't ride his bike. I'm trying my best. You ain't trying hard enough. But when you get enough falls on that bike, I bet you learn how to ride that bike. And all of them could ride a bike except for this one. They never taught him. I told his mama, bring him to me. I'll teach him how to ride that bike. So your best, is not, that ain't your best. If a parent know their kid, like I know my kids, that ain't your best. I just told my 35-year-old son that. You think you living your best life, and you're not. You ain't seen nothing yet. You could do better than what you're doing. You got a job. Me telling him what I told him made him realize Mom was right. He went and got a job.
Exactly.
Got good credit. He can put an apartment in his name for everybody but him. Do your best for you. Let your best be for you, not for somebody else. And when you get your best working, everybody else will fall in line. Maybe they can do their best. Because if you can do your best, anybody can do their best. Because right now, this is not your best. You're showing me this is your worst. And I'm confused because I know your daddy and your mama's side. So I don't even know where you got it from. You definitely copying off of somebody.
Wow.
So that ain't that. And at 35, he got a job and he got a car that's his. He ain't got to drive his girlfriend's car or his wife's car. You know, it just turned out better for him. I had to let him know that ain't your best. What you doing? You ain't even representing me or your daddy.
Exactly.
I don't even know who you represent.
All right, preacher.
So he did
all
better.
right, preacher. Hold on, preacher.
We got to tell our kids that we can't sugarcoat it.
Okay, good deal, preacher. Hold on now, preacher, Lord, my Jesus. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning? Cassandra?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, there you go. Yes, much better. Cassandra, how damaging could that have been to that child? And you could come from the parenting standpoint or the counseling standpoint or just the Cassandra standpoint. You got 3 different levels you could come. How damaging could that have been to that child?
Words can be very damaging, and what parents sometimes think is just, well, that's just my way. That may not be the best way for your child to do something. When you tell me you just like your daddy, or the things that parents say to their children, sometimes you cause very serious damage to your children without realizing. And as a school teacher, I taught school for 12 years. I know that parents can say some really cruel things that causes hurt and pain, and sometimes shut their child down from learning. The biggest thing, and Kurt knows this, and anybody else in here that's been in education or counseling know this, the biggest thing that you need to know about teaching a child is that children learn differently. Some children are audible learners, some children are visual learners. You have to figure out how your child learns best and deal with them from that position, and not try to say, well, your sister did this, or I was like this in English or whatever. That has nothing to do with your child and their makeup and how they learn. So once we learn that, we can help our children a lot more.
Wow, that's good. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother?
Cassandra is so dead on. St. Louis. I think that's St. Louis she from.
Kansas
so
City.
Dead on. Everybody is so dead on point. But the one thing that we must understand, the one thing that I processed on that within that situation was that his best was not good enough for who? See, sometimes we have to understand that the best we want does not directly correlate with the person we want the best for, because the best that we want has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with you. So now that it's like a parent who wants their son to be a doctor. They want him to be a surgeon. I wrote it in a film. They wanted this boy to be a surgeon. The boy didn't want to be a surgeon. The boy wanted to be a psychologist. He wanted to help people. So sometimes we have to understand that our kids as much as we want to guide and protect them and this, that, and the third, sometimes we got to let our kids find their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I did notice in everyone's conversation is when everyone spoke in terms of, yeah, I would do that. Like if I'm not, if I know my child, this, that, and the third. What I did notice was every single person that said, okay, yeah, I would do that. And I've done that from time to time, who knew their child. Everybody knew their child. And guess what they also did without even lifting a finger? They gave the child a tutorial without even lifting a finger to help them, but they still gave a tutorial. But it goes back to like when Rico was saying, stay in a child's place. People just saying it.
Mm-hmm.
You have parents who will say that because guess what? This kid actually is doing their best, and their best is 10 times better than what theirs were. So why do you have a higher benchmark for your child to meet? Or why do you have a benchmark for your child to meet that you could not meet? That's the one thing that I've always done with my sons. I've always set my benchmark slightly above what I met.
Mm-hmm.
I never set an expectation that was so high that the goal wasn't measurable. You understand? So, but what I did notice is everybody who chimed in actually gave a tutorial. Now, in your situation, Raheem, what I would have done is I would not have said, go back and do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want me to tell you why I would not have said that, is because sometimes children don't want to tell you. They embarrassed to tell you that they don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I would have said in your situation is, oh, okay. I tell you what, come on. I want you to teach me how you did this.
That's good.
And as they teaching, you know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we got to put ourselves in a position to be a student to our kids, not always be the teacher. You already know it, but now the child is teaching you, and you see exactly where they went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So then you got the ability and the know-how to chime in and say, hey, well, what if we did this right here? What would the outcome be? You know, Daddy, I ain't thought about that. Hold on, let me try. And they do it.
Exactly.
Oh, Daddy, that just means it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
I want to read.
But
go ahead, brother. I'll wrap it up. I want to read what our public citizen here said something to what you said as well. So I want to get to. Go ahead, Kurt. Finish your thought.
But hearing what everybody said, the brilliancy in what everybody spoke is that every single person, without even knowing that that's what they were doing, they automatically gravitated to being, okay, I'm going to tell you wrong, but I'm going to tell you why it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to let you see how you can correct it. So they became instructors.
Good deal.
And that's the brilliancy of it.
Absolutely. Public citizen said this right here. I think one good approach is to share a story about the time you failed at something and overcame after practicing. I see my students giving up too easily. We all do it sometimes. So what he's saying right there is use a story, using yourself as an example. Use yourself as an example and tell a story about when you failed or didn't do very well, but you had to go back and practice. You had to go back and practice.
Absolutely, it works.
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
It works.
Mm-hmm. Good
it
deal.
works. Now the world. I'm gonna keep it real.
Kurt, I gotta go to somebody else, brother, real quick.
Well, I was.
Go ahead.
Keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
The world has tried to dumb that down for our community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because once your kids start to understand just how many times you have failed or how many times you have tried, even down to the kids that are not your biological kids, but your extended family or the kids that you take care of, what happens is when they fail, it automatically clicks in their mind. Hold on, Mr. Kurt or Mr. Raheem or Miss Cassandra, they lost way more and they still got it. So now I can get up and get it. But see, the world has kind of dictated that in certain situations, you're not supposed to share that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, but it works. What Public Citizen's saying, it works 100%. I just seen it yesterday.
Good deal. I'm gonna do a roll call, man, because I'm missing somebody's name on my list. So if I don't call your name, let me know. I got Bishop Rico, Kurt, Donald, Dr. Cook, Kay Robinson, and Cassandra. Who am I missing?
Mr. Toy with the tea. I have your tea in the morning.
Who am I missing?
Sound like you missing Toy with the T and K.
Okay, no. Toy, you I had a lot of calls. Toy with a T, and you're the name that I didn't have on my list. So good morning, sis. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm well.
How you doing this morning?
How are y'all?
Look, hold on, I gotta say it to you. How you doing this morning?
Oh, hello. How you?
Doing good, but what? Look at here. I need you to tell me. I'm trying to read this thing here while I talk to you. Hold on. Okay, no, we're not going. Okay, but yeah, tell me what's on your heart about what we're talking about right now.
I feel like we don't understand our own kids. Like, I think by culture we do that, right? By culture, because we as humans come a long way from how we communicate and how we get the message across to the younger, the youth, right? We always put an expectation on the youth to be better than us. Mm-hmm. That's like the goal, right? We push them to be better than us, like we were slaves. So we push the kids that were free to be better than us, like it's a culture. But what I'm noticing is now that we have a negative way of doing it. We don't understand the fundamentals of learning and teaching and getting people to do what you want them to do. We're sergeants in command, right? We do the exact opposite. We don't know how to read, ain't thinking about reading, ain't thinking about going to school. We don't do nothing right. We want to tell them what to do. The kids is not stupid. We take the wrong approach at times because we forget that they are watching us. And oftentimes we are doing the exact opposite. And there's something spiritual that allows to get in us to kind of get upset. And I think that's, where we are, right? My father didn't graduate high school, and he pushed me to, right? So I would never look back at him like, oh, you didn't even do that, because, so don't push me, right? Instead, my father took, first of all, the spiritual approach. The Lord come first, honey. I don't care what I did, that's what you do. I want the best for you. So he explained everything like Kurt said. But not only that, the spirit behind it. Because a lot of us can say a lot, but you got a funky spirit. You really don't feel like dealing with me. You really don't feel like dealing with it. You don't really feel like being a part of it. And that spiritual thing has something to do with it. Sometimes the damage be done. We ain't trying to hit you. Right? But then I think third of all, we be so busy and wrapped up trying to do it ourselves instead of, like you said, letting God do what he do.
Yeah.
It ain't about what you want. It's about what God wants. And oftentimes we don't turn our children over to the Lord. And we be walking around here with no covering because you so busy. I don't know, we scared what the Lord gonna be like off of us like Isaac. I don't know. But oftentimes parents want to rescue the kids from everybody, the truth and God. And you leave them open to getting psyched out by the devil and thinking that education.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Everybody mute your line. I got some background noise. Somebody hitting on keys or something like that.
Typing.
Yeah, somebody typing or somebody doing something. Mute your line for me. So I want to make sure that we give everybody the respect that they deserve, so people can hear what they're saying. So mute your line for me, so we don't have that. Sorry about that, Toy. You go ahead.
No problem. But the education that we need, and you know what? I asked my nephews this, for example, right? Even as kids, we always knew we were supposed to go to school. But I'm going to get a little bit deeper. As kids, we knew that we weren't supposed to cut people off. As kids, we know we weren't supposed to interrupt. But when we become adults, we negate all of that. Right? But we do it. And we do it right here on the show.
Yeah.
We know we're not supposed to cut people off, but we do it. But this is the concept that I'm trying to talk about with the children. Because you're going to tell kids that, but then you do it. And then you wonder why they're not doing what you say, they're doing what you do. Are you the living example that we're giving our kids? And oftentimes
We're not. And that's, why we kind of have the thing. So when it comes to that best not being good enough, the kid ain't never saw you do your best. Ain't never felt your spirit do the best. It's always been a do what you want to do what we want to do kind of thing out here. And I'm talking about with black people, my people especially. I talk about no other family, I talk about mine.
Mm-hmm.
It was always a do what we want to do mentality, and what we did were not the right, positive, productive things in society, and therefore we have a lot of our lost generation. So, somebody got to clean up. My nephew asked me, he said, Auntie, you wouldn't have got your degree, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, our family, you know how we do. He said, yeah. He said, well, tell me why you went and got it then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I said, nephew, let me tell you something. I knew I was smart a long time ago. I knew I was smart as all outdoors. But I ain't got nothing to show the world that. Just because I opened up my mouth and said that mean I am? I said, so no, I decided to go to school and get me some paperwork. So I said, I need paperwork to show how smart I am. And that's what I did. And it was like he looked at me with a different light. And he's been keeping in contact with me every day. Like, you know what? I don't feel no ill will and intent behind what you're doing, Auntie. I don't feel no ill intention for you trying to get me to do this thing or be who I am, with no ill will and intent. And for that, I love you. Exactly. I need you in my corner, and I want to thank you for confirming God to me.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But we always got to be real, period. Be real with them. They're going to get it, and they're going to already know what their best is, no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm. I have to do something, and y'all please excuse me for a second. Totally off topic, but I have to address something, and I'm not gonna call the person's name. I'm not gonna do that. But I need and we have a couple of platforms here that we use we broadcast. One of the platforms that I'm on right now, thank you. I guess I thank you. I appreciate that, I guess. But listen, I need you to understand. And I need you to respect the fact that I told you before, I'm a very happily married man, been married for a long time. We can't do that. So please stop that. Please. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Stop what, Raheem?
Wow. It wasn't me.
No.
Stop what, Raheem?
I'm like, stop me. It wasn't me.
No, it was no. It's they know who I'm talking to. And hopefully that's going, because they've done that before, and I don't appreciate it. So please stop. Go ahead, Cassandra.
Hold on, Raheem. Now you my big brother, dog. Now, little brother got to speak up. Hold on. Now, stop what?
We'll talk off.
Hey, listen, we ain't doing that over here. Whoever it is, we ain't doing that over here. I'm telling you.
Kurt, we'll talk off.
We're not doing that over here.
We'll talk off here, man. We'll talk off here. But Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah. Okay. So that was interesting. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with what Toya said. People really, you need to watch. I'm sorry, someone is talking.
Go ahead, Cassandra.
Okay. We need to be the example of what we want to see in our children. So our behaviors, a lot of time, we have this old saying that do what I say, not what I do. I don't know whether I agree with that. Mm-hmm. And that's something that, especially the Black community, we got that real bad. We tell our children, I don't care what I'm doing, you just do it, which is, I don't know, it's just not right. If you raising hell, drinking, smoking, cussing, carrying on around them, and then you tell them they may not do it in front of you, but they're going to pattern a lot of their behaviors by what they see, because they feel like if mom and daddy's doing it, must be all right, and it must be normal behaviors. So I think that we can mess our children up by what we say and by what we do. So they're watching us. So we need to make sure that our behaviors, my children have never, well, I don't drink, but before 21, I did drink. But my children have never seen me drink. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? In front of them, I'll get drunk. Let's put it like that. Even when I wasn't drinking, it's just certain things. If you want to pattern something, give them something to look at. Give them an example of how to pattern themselves, and that's whether they learn. A lot of kids learn by watching you. Mm-hmm. So what are you showing them? That's the key. So I'm just big on, doing the best that you can. None of us are perfect, but there are things that we can do to show a better example to our children for them to follow, whether it's from learning in school, whatever. You know, do you give up every time something doesn't work out for you? Do you just throw in the towel? Then that's what they're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you how you teach them. And lady, whoever you are, please leave them alone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Thank you, Sandra. Appreciate that. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I agree with what both of them just said, man. I mean, I've been sitting there the whole time, can't wait to get out and say the same thing that they already said. It's about leading by example, and that means consistently. Not every now and then, not just on Sunday, not just on Saturday night, but 7 days out the week, 24 hours a day, that you are consistently leading by example.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when you lead by example and you make your best, you put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
You accomplish, you know, you try to achieve your most potential. That child will do the same thing too. Mm-hmm. And if you actually put quality time in with that child, that's like what Curtis said too, about sitting down and finding out where they're getting lost at. You know, I had to do the same thing when I got in situations where I was messing up in school. If a teacher didn't sit down with me and find out where was I last doing good at and where was I missing it at,
mm-hmm.
she started correcting where I missed it at so I could get back on track, because everything is a process. So, you know, it takes that that consistent, I'm gonna say, attention, quality time with the parent. And so when they say your best ain't good enough, they probably really understand that their child, they know their child, they probably are doing their best, mm-hmm. because they put enough time and effort into them. They have prepared them with the proper tools to succeed. But now you have some parents that didn't reach their full potential. They underachieve. And so now they want to influence their children to not do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So now here it is. Your best ain't good enough. I know you can do better. But see, we got to understand, just as we are recognizing the potential of our children and their shortcomings and their achievements, they're noticing ours. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Young adults look at adults and they realize, you know what, man, that dude's smart. Why he ain't doing something with it? Man, I taught the old school. You know how we call our OGs? Yeah. Man, I taught the old school, man. Old school got a wealth of knowledge. Mm-hmm. What he doing, man? He's sitting at the park drinking every day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you don't reach your potential, you know what I'm saying? You know yourself that your best wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. And like I said, sometimes people will say that they did their best, but really and truly, that's just the most they feel like doing. Yeah. Exactly. They don't really have an interest in it. So, you know, it goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? But one thing we have got to remember, if we are the pastors, if we are the governors and mayors and all these other people that want the people that we are leading and representing to do their best, the best thing for us to do is lead by example. Absolutely. And let me say something that cracked me up a second ago. Public Citizen, he said, it wasn't me. Laugh out loud. It wasn't me. That dude hilarious. Let me see who I got. Bishop, what's on your heart? Bishop, you there?
Yes. Yeah, dealing with the level of encouraging a child. I go to be honest to say anybody. You don't want to down them or try to put them down because they didn't reach a certain goal that according to your expectations. So that's why it's so important to know and understand what you're doing before you do it, or how to encourage an individual to be the best that they possibly can be. Mm-hmm. For me, like I said, God blessed me with 6 children, and I didn't expect them to be me. I expected them to be them. Mm-hmm. And I always tell them, push yourself. And if you've given all that you can, that's all I ask. I ain't got no time to criticize, to try to tear them down. My whole premise as a father is to try to build them up and encourage them to be the very best that they possibly can be. Exactly. So, as always, your topics are a conversation, wherever it came from. It's just something that we all just sit back, think about, and try to be our best at it, individually and collectively.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Robinson, you still with us? Juwan, you still with us? I think we might have lost him. Okay. K with an E. Talk to me, sis. What's on your heart? Okay.
Wrong way.
I hit the wrong button. I was just listening. Yeah, everybody's right. And I tell my kids all the time too, though. I don't want you to do what I did. I want you to do better than what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to do as I did. I want you to do more than I did. Like I stopped at CNA. I'm pushing my daughter for RN.
There you go. There you go. Exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? We got 3 minutes. We're try to touch everybody before we get out of here. What's on your heart, Kurt?
Nah, man, look, I'm gonna keep it real. I said what I said because in 49 years of living, man, I've never seen a man, and I gotta give you your flowers while you're here. But I've never seen a man to have that level, and I'm just gonna keep it real, to have that level of commitment and there's several words that I could find to Sabrina. And I understand also just what kind of woman and how powerful Brina is, not only to your life, but to your family. Mm-hmm. So please, everybody, forgive me for getting a little perturbed because as a therapist, sometimes I battle with that. I battle with the fact that here it is, we're talking about how to better address our children, and somebody's sickness comes across the air in reference to how to create chaos and drama. Mm-hmm. So I have to say, forgive me, big bro, but I just couldn't let that one slide, man. Like, I ain't perfect, but my God, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, that's a man of God. Leave him alone. You know what I mean? Leave him alone. Mm-hmm. Mess with somebody else. You know what I mean? So I kind of took that a little personal, only because I know how important your family is to you, brother. I know your story behind the story. So forgive me, but to everybody else, man, I love y'all. Y'all be good, man. Just know that this life that we walk in is a walking testimony and sacrifice, and these kids need us to state true testimonies to them. We pass the days of lying to the kids. We ain't gotta lie to them no more.
Praise God.
We don't have to. So I love you, man.
I love you as well.
We just keep holding it down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Toussaint.
I thought you would shut me out, man.
No, sir.
No, I hung up and I'll call back. No, sir. Look here. We have created this monster. We can't keep blaming these kids for what we've done. Mm-hmm. We've pampered them. We've held their hands. We've manipulated them. We've lied to them. We've showed them some things that we shouldn't have shown them. We live double lives right in front of them. And now we tell them, your best is not good enough. Mm-hmm. Well, you didn't give them the opportunity to do their best in the first place. People get mad with me when I tell them the things that I do to my kids, did with my kids. Mm-hmm. But I refuse to let them fail.
Yes.
Based on some of the mistakes that I made.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And see, we don't want to be real about us with our self-righteous self, knowing that we're not perfect.
Come on.
I'm not going to walk around here like I'm perfect. I got issues. So I present my issues before them and say, okay, don't do this, because I know what road you travel. Mm-hmm. I've done that, been there, all of that kind of foolishness. I've tried it. It don't work. Mm-hmm. But we want to sit up there with our Bibles under our arm and we full of hell. And they know it. They're not stupid. Mm-hmm. What we have to do, you know it, right?
Dawn is something else, man. Dawn is something else.
Okay.
I'll tell y'all, Dawn is something else, man. y'all listen to Dawn is something else. Now, if y'all listen to him, go ahead, Donna. Go ahead. I ain't saying nothing, man. Go ahead.
No, but no, right though. I mean, I'm not trying to be right. I'm just listening, and we're looking at these little guys that dig and they bump. But what we have done is said, it's all right if you like Johnny.
Mm. Lord, my Jesus, boy, who we got left? Who we got left? Let me see here. Rico, I think we lost Rico. I think Rico had to take off. Rico, you still with us? I think we lost Rico. Let me see who else we got here now. I think that's it. Did I miss anybody? Okay, good deal.
Raheem,
Yes.
Raheem, as usual, you know, I gotta say thank you, man. Thank you. I'm sorry I was late. Thank you for the good platform. It sounded like it was really good, really juicy. Everybody else, thank y'all, man, for your feedback, for being honest, for being real, and bringing our, our thoughts to the table. So hopefully somebody will be healed and delivered from it, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you so much.
Hey, appreciate you as well, sis. Dr. Cook, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I just basically want to say, that this has been an awesome topic today. I thank everyone for the information, and I look forward to the next conversation that you have.
Absolutely, good deal, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. I got to go back to Toya with a T real quick. Toya with a T, what's going on at 3:00 today? Toya with a T, she must have just hung up on me. Toya, are you still there? Kurt, talk to me, brother. What's going on at 3:00 today? Man, I done lost everybody. Ain't nobody gonna tell everybody what's going on at 3:00 today. Who's still here? Bishop, you still with us?
I am here.
Okay, Bishop, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir? Tell me what's going on at 3:00.
If you have missed this program this morning, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern time and catch it in its entirety.
Come on now.
Or you can log on to www.dkm Media Group and
mediagroup.com. Yes, sir.
And associate.
Media
Group and associate.
No, don't put associates there. Just dkmmediagroup.com.
Watch out for the associate. That's what you got on this radio with you right now.
Oh. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Black folk. That's all I'm gonna say. Black folk. Look, black folk. Cassandra, sometimes just gonna say you can't say nothing. Just say black folk. All right, good deal. Then let me see who else we got. Cassandra, you still with us, right?
Yes, I am.
Cassandra, we got to get you the prayers out, sis.
Father, once again, we just come before you, thanking you for your goodness and your mercy. God, we thank you right now for everything that you're doing through this media platform. We thank you for every panelist, God, for every person that is under the sound of my voice, God. We ask you to just bless them, to keep them, to let the words that are coming from our mouths be a blessing, God, to them, God. Even if it's bitter going down, that it becomes honey once it reaches their belly. And they realize, God, they learn something. And we know, God, that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is what you want us to take away from every time we come together on DKM Media and the Morning Glow. God, we just bless you, we honor you, and we thank you. All these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Now see, that was a prayer right there. She said something about milk and honey and all kind of good things. God almighty. Boy, I do that. I said that's a preacher right there. Now that's a preacher. Now that's a preacher right there.
Raheem.
Yes, sir.
Raheem. She did beautiful. Sandra, you left out something in your prep.
I can't do those, Bishop. I can't do those.
Lord, Bishop wants you to hoot and all kind of stuff. And you're gonna tell you.
Yeah, the hoop, to do the hoop and the groan and that's not me.
see, let me see. Let me see. Can we pull some of that? Cassandra, can I pull something out real quick?
Yes, sir.
I ain't good at it now, but I do the best I can because Bishop gonna come behind me and make that thing right. Bishop, you got my back, right?
Yeah, I got you, bro.
My man. And I'm gonna tell you that you gotta understand that every time that you hear what they say, and every time you got to understand that we walking, and we walking, and we talking, and we standing, and we standing. Somebody said, "Oh, excuse me, y'all."
Oh, God.
Lord, please don't. Don't.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That boy right there. God bless him. You got to pray a special prayer as we get offline, there. He showed.
Okay. Absolutely.
Wow. See,
absolutely.
Dr. Cook made me do that.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
You didn't tell them folks that I'm a winner of the International Trailblazers Award with you.
But hold on, let's tell them then. Tell them.
No, you tell them. I ain't gonna tell them. I want you to tell them. It sounds better coming from somebody else other than me.
I'm gonna tell you something. I wanna honor my brother. I wanna take opportunity and let each and every. Now, it's this weekend. This weekend, right?
Yeah, this weekend, this Sunday.
Okay, this Sunday. If you get an opportunity this Sunday, you need to come out. If you can't come out, just send my brother something, because he has won a fantastic award. He is going to be the Trailblazers Award. Our own bishop, like some people say, the good bishop, is going to be honored this weekend along with everybody. As a matter of fact, he's going to be the only star in the show. Everybody else is co-stars. So I want you all to give him a round of applause. Send him some money. What's your cash? What's your cash out, Bishop?
Yay!
What's your cash out, Bishop?
Man, ain't nobody got to send me no money. Just keep in your prayer.
You don't want no money? I ain't
I hear you, Bishop.
I ain't never heard nobody say you ain't gotta give me no money. What now? What they do that at?
Hey, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
I had to call back in, man. I heard what you were just trying to do with that preacher, man, and I just had to say, I do not think you were doing your best. If that was your best, not good.
Oh, that is perfect. Yes. Thank you, Rico. Thank you, Rico.
We're going to sit down and find out where you missed the boat. Somewhere you done got off that.
Look here, I need to try harder. That's what you're saying? I need to try harder.
You just need a few more lessons.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Man, I thought I was doing good.
Try that again.
Kay, what now? How you gonna come in and co-sign stuff like that? You want to be on my side.
I'm just listening. You always doing something, Raheem. Yesterday you were singing.
Look.
I will not be able to have that.
And that is not acceptable. That is not your best.
That's not good. I thought that was good now. Love and happiness. See, Cassandra gonna be back there talking about, well. Go ahead, Cassandra. Well. She ain't gonna do that.
I will not. I will Kay, I will not.
She will not.
Wow. Hey, listen, it is 10 time for us to get out of here, man. I definitely enjoyed this broadcast. It's been a great broadcast, and I hope that somebody heard some things that's going to help them in some kind of a mighty way. It is 10:10. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, right, this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Y'all take care of each other, love each other, and each and every one of you be blessed. Have a great day.